Hello and welcome to the Prepare to Compete podcast, where we talk all things VA benefits, real estate, entrepreneurship, and more. Kenneth Davis, how you feeling today, my brother?
Oh man, I'm blessed and highly favored. Just ready to get to educating.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we've been educating a lot through all these segments regarding veterans, VA benefits, real estate, and again, we want to talk to you about business and entrepreneurship. And we want to talk about our friend Dave Ramsey and whether his principles actually apply to the veteran community. I've been a fan of Dave Ramsey for a while. He has some very good principles regarding just kind of saving up and building wealth. And we really want to kind of unpack a little bit of that for our veteran community today.
Yeah. And listen, Mr. Ramsey, he is just kind of giving a little background. He's, again, I would say almost a financial expert, right? Christian based, and just really loves giving more information in regards to a way to build financial wealth for you and your family, and kind of having understandable principles that's going to get you there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. He have very much so principles. Some of them I believe may be faith-based or at least faith-influenced. And there's some different things that happen in the news that, I've kind of heard, I guess, the social media, YouTube news, right? I guess we're YouTubers right now,
Listen,
right?
that's where media comes from. That's where everyone gets their news, right? That's the most clicks. 9 times out of 10, most people aren't in front of the TV anymore getting the news for the most part.
Absolutely. I don't turn on the TV unless I'm watching the Laker game, and usually I gotta work while I'm doing that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've been in tears lately.
Man, they've been doing me wrong, man. But the 49ers are making a good push in the NFL season, so that's helping me have some type of enjoyment in my sports world.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it kind of started with some young lady that said something regarding Dave Ramsey being, whether he was for the black community or not, and that made some waves. And of course, Anthony O'Neill, which he actually used to appear on the Dave Ramsey show, he made a video about it. So it actually had me kind of take heed to, what was going on with that situation. And I saw, other YouTubers make some different videos and have some commentary about it. And we're not here to kind of debate the points that they did, but it really just kind of made us really think a little bit, right? And then we have certain conversations all the time about building wealth, what's the best strategies. And even us, we don't have the same exact opinion on how to do it, right? So there's not one strategy that fits all. And, I think that's the crux of it that kind of everybody needs to understand. And, we want to just kind of introduce some of the things that Dave Ramsey says, because, especially even with the veteran community, he talks about VA loans and how that's so terrible and all this type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, let's kind of unpack that, and let's kind of let the public know what we feel and, some feedback that we have.
Yeah, and truth be told, right, a lot of it is, I think when we're always talk, I think it's a lot of trigger words, I would say, right, or high intensity verbiage, generational wealth and wealth building and different things, different terminology. It's always going to be about, at the end of the day, whatever your, specialty is or your expertise. I think loving that and loving the people that you service and also loving the community that you're surrounding is ultimately going to get you in the position that you desire for the most part in some way, shape, or form. Right. But when we go about that way, understanding the principles that's aligned that Mr. Ramsey states, and again, for veterans as well, there's multiple ways that you can even jump different steps in regards to what the principles are just through military service. But we'll talk about that soon here.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of unpack it, right, Dave Ramsey has 7 baby steps, right, to build wealth. And we agree with a lot of them, or at least I agree with a lot of them, especially when you get to that end point of, being able to actually give back, right, and doing that. But how you get there, like, to each his own, right? In the sense of, do you pay off your house totally, having a certain amount in savings and, not utilizing credit cards and different things like that. He preaches a lot of that. I think that can work very well. I would say everything that he kind of teaches is very good idealistic principles, right? But when you talk about business owners, for example, a lot of times credit is king, for us business owners, in a sense to just be able to leverage ourselves and be able to do things that, hey, I got $10,000, but I can get $100,000 worth of credit, so let me leverage that to run my business and do other things that's going to create revenue, right? But when you're talking about the basic individual, when they're utilizing credit, oftentimes they're just going to buy the new iPhone, buy a big screen TV and, a Gucci bag or something, and they're not necessarily utilizing it to leverage to build wealth, right?
Yeah.
So I think that what really becomes the issue, the crux of the issue. Is like, it's not necessarily that credit is all bad. It's just definitely when you use it for liabilities and not assets, then that becomes the problem. And also, in the culture a lot lately, there's been some different rumblings of what asset and what a liability is, in the sense of people being able to leverage cars as assets now because they're going to go put it on Turo to rent it out, or they're going to buy this rental property and put it on Airbnb, different things like that. And now that Airbnb is failing, that so-called asset became a liability because without the revenue from Airbnb, it's not cash flowing anymore, and different things like that. So I understand what Dave Ramsey teaches about, because he prevents people from getting themselves caught in that.
Yeah, no, true indeed. And I definitely agree to that in regards to being able to navigate on how not to get caught into that cycle, because that cycle is very dangerous. That cycle could make you feel like you're over water and underwater. And if you ever been in as a business owner or just a everyday person who is working a 9 to 5, which is great as well. If you're going through that process and feeling underwater, I will tell you right now that type of anxiety and that type of distress is not for the faint at heart, and it's very stressful for any person, veteran or not. So.
Absolutely, yeah, it definitely is. So now, you alluded to a little bit ago regarding veterans being able to be very well positioned, right, when it comes to building wealth, because obviously, a lot of veterans join military service, right out of high school or even in their early 20s. So they're starting to establish a lot of wealth building tools early on, as far as establishing a lot of work skills, right? Life skills, starting to kind of build for their retirement early on, establishing a family, doing certain things, being able to have access to use the VA loan if they so do please to do so, which is very unique from the normal civilian, right? Because you literally, you can have a military service member that joins the service when they're 18, they're getting out of service after 20 years and they're not even 40 yet, right? And they already have a 20-year retirement from the military. They come work another career, and by the time they're 60, they have 2 retirements, right?
Yeah.
So, we're talking about, as far as the veteran community, a whole different ball game of being able to build wealth and get themselves established.
Yeah, and now and a lot of that, and this is we're talking about the current veteran.